I'm Jesse Chao. I'm from Ericsson. Yeah, I know this title is boring. So, I was a Star Trek fan, so I was going to be like a discovery column and how do you work with the Klingons. Okay, that was the one because I think it's too radical. So, yeah, I saw one. Yeah. Today I'm going to talk about more a practical issue that's been like my daily work for more than 2 or 3 years. It's all about how to work in our enterprise R&D and also doing this new data science project. So actually, it's more the dark side or the Darth Vader in this. So I don't know if that will be your experience as well, but it's more happening in the enterprise than the startup. So if you're working in a startup, maybe you're lucky, then you might not need to face some of these problems. So, okay. About me, I'm from Taiwan. Why I list all this is because that's all the positions I've been have. In the short 15 years career, how could you do that? Because I work like 26 hours per day. No, that's not about the Asian worker. But yeah, actually, I have quite some strange experience in many different areas. And that's kind of relate to what we're talking about today. Ericsson, I'll do a quick walkthrough because last time I was in another speech, I thought everyone knows Ericsson if you're Swedish, but actually not for those younger one. Yeah, we're not selling cell phone anymore. Sorry about that. But we are doing the start from 1G, 2G, now till we're working on 5G. My work is doing the data center automation. Relates to so many different use cases, considering about like regards to physical facilities like power, cooling, or to the IT infrastructure, to the virtualization, to the cloud, big data, lots of things. But the 5G, actually they need a very strong data center to support all these new use cases. So what's the difference between 4G and 5G? The biggest difference is about the users are not a human anymore. Okay, let's say animal is human is only part of the users, and then becomes with a lot of smart vehicles, IoT sensors, robots, etc. So you'll see there'll be like 100 times connected devices. Why we say this 10-year battery life? Because there's a new technology called narrowband IoT that we could let the IoT sensors sitting there and the work for the 10 years without replacing the batteries. Wow, sounds great. But also means there's a lot of data comes. 5 times lower latency, 100 times end user data rates, and 1,000 times data volumes. Unfortunately, nowadays, the data center cannot cope with that. The good data center, lies in the like Google or Facebook, but in the we say kind of a conventional data center is not that ready to cope with this future. So that's what I'm working on. So let's start our because we're talking about enterprise R&D. So let's start our AI project in enterprise. That's my product marketing guys forced me to do so because he says, "What about deep learning? What is that?" And that was in an event, and they can't understand what I'm talking about this, machine learning things. But they ask, "Is this kind of artificial intelligence?" I say, "Yeah, sort of. I don't dare to say this an AI, but wow, great! I could use it in all my materials because AI is so fancy a term." But that's also caused some problems today. So the first question, if we want to start a data science or AI project, who should I look for? A data scientist, like maybe most of you? Yeah, of course. So let's talk about data scientists. There are so many definitions. Data scientist, sexiest job of the 21st century. Actually, it was not in the 20th century. I have a bachelor degree in statistics. When I graduated, till this 2 decades, not one of my classmates working in this area because we can't find a job during that time. Statistics, what is that? So my friends are become like teachers and accountants, and someone like me doing IT development. There was not a good job before, but nowadays changed. So you should have like a multidisciplinary skills ranging from the math, statistics, computer science, domain expertise, and business acumen. If you find a guy that with all these skill set and they're very good at that and with the experience, tell me, I could give you a job. But we all know that might not be that realistic. Maybe some you could find they're good at one, but not that good in another two. So we all could have an understanding about, you're not finding a office lady, you're finding a Wonder Woman. Okay, so he has to, or she has to understand everything. So finding a data scientist, of course, it's hard. A good data scientist. Finding a full stack data scientist is extremely hard. I don't know if that guys exist. But that's my hurt. Finding people who understand who a data scientist is equally hard, especially if you're a business manager. You're talking about we're starting a tiger team that working on AI. Then you got some challenges in front of you. So, a good data scientist should have like all these skills. Luckily, I kind of cover them, but that means you're a unicorn, or maybe a master of none? No, sort of like that, because that's a good thing that you could speak language to all of these guys, but also that's a problem that I'm not do the coding anymore. I'm not writing Python anymore. Yes, I wrote Python, but I don't do this modeling myself. So why we talk about this master of none? Because it could be a role to change, to lead the paradigm shift in your company. So we talk about two challenges. The first challenge is in enterprise is the domain expertise. It's the hype cycle. In the previous slide we see this. So it's a hype cycle about the AI. So I think, I don't know if you agree with me, AI now is in the peak of its inflated expectations, just like 10 years ago when we talked about cloud computing. So what's gonna happen then? People will start to think, wow, it's so great, but also come with some, horrible thinking. And we will go through this through of the disillusionment. We'll find out, okay, that's not really happen that fast. Autonomous car, there might be some other challenges happen when we try to do a more practical experiments. But I would say this is in the consumer market. People will start to hate this turn in the next year, because everything they could this is a cup, it's an AI cup and with AI water. What that means? That's something that will happen, but that's in the consumer market. Enterprise is not that fast actually. So when we talk about the consumer technology like music, video, that we're doing all these semantics experiment that we're working on, actually that's for more the consumer technology. But in enterprise, actually it's much slower. First of all, a business manager should find a consultant, and they will like the blah, 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 about cloud things. And then we found out, oh, wow, sounds great. And then how should we apply it to our daily work? Okay, so that takes time. So there's some impacts that, in my experience, the first one is consumer technology are more intuitive. We sort of kind of a user out of a huge number. You could say you're sort of a domain expert in some way, but enterprise take this new technology in a more conservative way. There are different types of the innovation paths, there's a different timeline of the hype cycle. So usually, like cloud computing or big data, actually it usually takes 2 to 10 more years to realize this relatively new next-gen technology in practice. So I would say today, actually, the enterprise still here. Though we still heard about like Vattenfall or Scania, they're talking about their autonomous truck. That is great, but that's some very few company with some pioneers. They're doing this work. Most of the enterprise are kind of late behind. So there will be some other problems happen. So I'll give you an example about this domain expertise problem. One time I've been invited to a supercomputer center, talked to their director. The director is a very experienced expert in this infrastructure and the supercomputer things. So they consult me about like, okay, how do we start, because we got, a huge amount of money, the government support us, ask us to do something on the AI. What should we do? And the first thing, the director told me they just hired one, very great data scientist. He's a statistics PhD from some great university, and we hired him like 6 months ago. He's so great. So we three are in a room for 1.5 hours. What happened next? After that, I kind of separately talked to each of them, and their comment is like, it's a Chinese proverb. It's like you put an elephant in a small room, there's a lot of blind people trying to feel what they're touching with. And somebody say, okay, it's a tree trunk. Somebody say, okay, it's a rope. So actually, they both of them only understand half of my conversation, and that 50% are not overlapped at all. So these statistics PhD say, yeah, all these models are great, but I could do that, but actually I don't know what I'm doing here for this half a year. I don't even know what they're talking about, and they just try to ask me to build some magic stuff to their boss to see if there's something gonna happen. But actually, that's the problem today. So people don't understand each other's language and hard to work together. So this is my thinking. Yeah, maybe a little bit aggressive. 90% of the regular domain expert, business managers can do data analysis. Yes, that's true. 9% I call that the kind of a citizen data scientist. I'm kind of listing that category. We do some Excel, Tableau, SQL analysis. Yes, we could do that, but not that good at. There may be less than 1% data scientists with poor domain knowledge. Yes, because they'll try to learn that. And only maybe 0.1% that are domain experts. And that's quite different in the consumer market. I don't know if that's true. People, you could have objections on that, but I don't know if Spotify. I don't know if Spotify. Anyone is working in Spotify? Okay, good. Are you really hiring some, very the music domain expert? Maybe some musicians, but someone studying music theory or philosophy of music. I don't know. Maybe, yeah, very small because they knew something we don't know. But are they doing some data analytics? I don't know, maybe not. Those musicians, they have their other stuff to do. So for the 40%, the data scientists, I think most of the data scientists listen to music. Someone loves to listen to that. Someone might, are good at many kinds of they listen to different language, then listen to different type of music. So we would say they might have some poor domain knowledge. And some of them think they are kind of a domain expert because I'm the user. I listen to jazz, I listen to rock and roll. So maybe I could treat myself as a domain expert to see what I'm going to do, what kind of product I like. And I don't know how that works, but consumer market and enterprise market is still a big difference. So who's the one on top of that? Understand everything. Maybe another data scientist, but he knew everything before everyone understand who they needs. Okay, that might be jobs. Yeah. So the first one talk about the challenge of the data domain expertise in enterprise. Second one is about the organization. A little bit politics in this. So when we talk about we are looking for data science, are we profiling a person or a team? So Josh Wells, the director of the Coursera, gave a definition. Data science is a person who is better at statistics than any software engineer. Yes, and better at software engineering than any statistician. True. So all this we talk about, I think everyone saw this before. We talk about this direction. I don't know if there's anyone start with computer science and now you're a data scientist. Perfect. You're the unicorn, actually. That's very few. And you know the trend. That's good. So are we start talking about domain expertise? No, not yet. So in reality, we not only need a person, we need a team. So that's my experience. In a use case, you might need more than one data scientist because everyone has a different aspect. So more than one, even is part-time, to help you to think in a more different way. And the second is the most bitter role in the data scientist thing is the data engineer. Who's the data engineer here? Wow, thank you. Yeah, you're always being asked to clean up the data, and the data quality is always the problem. It's always hard to stream the real-time data, etc. Developers, architects, administrators, domain expert, and last one, but not least, this is the very strange role. It's called a line manager. Everyone has a manager. The developer has a manager. So they might be the development head, they might be the CTO, they might be good at some other area. So I call it kind of a geocentric world. For the past 2 or 3 decades, all these high-tech innovations were created solely by these almighty developers because they get the highest pay in valleys. So yes, everyone's like architects, system analysts, DBA, testers, they're surrounded and provide helps. So it's kind of like this. Why I say so? Because it's also hard to talk to them about this data science project because everyone has its own knowledge level on new things. Either it's cloud computing or big data. You are surprisingly found that people are at so many different levels of this. Cloud, yes, I think I knew it, but actually you're not. So today, actually it's like the data science project in a conventional data enterprise actually is kind of a revolution, I would say, because you start to find this heliocentric world, like Galileo or Copernicus say, yeah, people are surrounded with the data scientists to provide help because we want to build something different. We want to find out something different. But it might not end with a good result because you might also be, burn that stack if you are too radically thinking about like, sorry, Earth is not the center of the universe, it's the sun. But actually till today, we know that both of them may be wrong or maybe right because you could treat anything as a center and then you start to discover the rest of it. So nothing is wrong or right, but that is a change because I have a team working in Santa Clara, in Silicon Valley. I have a team working in Sweden. I also have a team working in China. So these are the discussion happen in meetings. When you talk about data science, to these super developers or development heads say, I don't really get it. Is it not logical? It's like it's like a black box. You say, yeah, it's kind of like a black box. How could I control the quality of codes? Why am I here? They start to get defensive because they don't understand a word that you say, because for them, they don't know how this model, this formula works. They don't know there's a math behind that that's to see things different, because in their world, it's if then else. So I think you have some experience on that, because that's quite a different world to start to treat the data in a more different way. So how to ease that? So you don't want this discussion to go south? Yes. Yes. Yeah. To prevent that you're going to be burned as stack, you might need an interpreter. That's my point today. It turned out that looking for a unicorn in the data science team is unrealistic. So gather a new task force and find the right person in your team. Where to find? That's my suggestion. The suggestion is to start from these two kind of people. The citizen data scientists who, like me, yeah, we measured in statistics, but we're not that really good at that. But I was a DBA as well, so yeah, I could do some data modeling. And also the data scientists who, with a poor domain knowledge, and then you keep training them. Last page is my lesson learned. So whether you agree or not, but I hope that could ease some of the pains or the cleaning up the roadblock in front of the journey. So when you start a project, understand where you are. See who the stakeholders you're going to facing with. Are we in the same page, or there is something you might know. Before you talk about AI, you might need to know if they know about something about big data. What's the big data? Is that only data is big? No. What's about cloud computing? Yeah, there are so many knowledge they need or they need not to know. Depends on your business. So find someone who understands how data science works. And you must have some related background with domain expertise, but it's like a seesaw. Some are good at, have better background expertise, some have better math background. So it's like seesaw, but always there's somebody know both, but maybe not concurrently good at both sides, but that's the guy you might need to find out. So no one was born as a domain expert. Try to find that 0.9% data scientists with poor domain knowledge and keep training off them. Don't stop, always train them. No matter it's domain knowledge or some other related area, keep training them because no one was born to understand everything. Second, find this 9% of the citizen data scientists. Use them to be a facilitator or an interpreter in all the discussions. They are the one who only maybe speak Martian, then could talk to people from Earth or people from Mars. So you need somebody to have the common language to bridge everyone. The last one, continuously bring up the overall knowledge level of your core technologies. It's not core business, it's core technology. It means like you have bring up everyone to the same level. Understand about what's machine learning doing, what's the deep learning doing. They don't need to do that by themselves, but they have to understand what your work is and how to evaluate your work and how to find out if that fits the use case and provide values to your customers. Okay, that's my experience. Thank you.